Join us today on Afternoon Express as your hosts, myself, Monalisa Molefe.
And me, Ayanda G. Tabete, chats with owner and curator of Artform Factory, Monalisa Molefe.
We get a front row seat to the wedding of artist Richard Scott to Joanne Roberts with Kulture by Jacques Lagrange.
Meet pioneering female rugby commentator Layla Arrison, and I attend the Forbes Women Africa Leading Women Summit 2025.
And Maxhosa founder Laduma Ngxokolo chats about the MXS Culture Festival, as well as his recent stint on the Paris runway.
Hello again, my beautiful Afternoon Express family, and welcome to another show. I hope that you're having an awesome week so far and are feeling amazing.
Yeah, Bosiswam, I echo your sentiments. Good afternoon, Mzansi. Now, today we truly have a special show lined up. Kicking it off, we go on an adventure with Ayanda and Monalisa Molefe, where they check out all things art.
Visionary arts entrepreneur and globally respected arts advisor Monalisa took me to her favorite studio, curated by the legendary Professor Biggie Dantuli. I cannot believe the size and magnitude of these art pieces. I must say, when you told me that you're treating me to an art studio today, this is not what I expected.
Thank you, Ayanda. I'm so glad that you're open to coming into the studio with me today, because this is actually the part of the art world that not a lot of people get to experience. We're so used to seeing the art already in the four white walls of an art gallery, and then sometimes even the end client's home, but we never really get to see it from inception. And today, I just wanted to bring you into the space so that you can really see firsthand what happens behind the scenes when the artist is getting those creative juices moving.
I was expecting to see paintings in different sizes. I'm so happy to see so many sculptures.
Yes, so actually it's really great because the whole art industry has got different art forms. What's really interesting is that right here we've got a sculpture made of Zimbabwean granite.
Okay.
Yes.
No, see, now I have to feel it to prove.
Yes, please do. Touch, play.
Oh my word, okay, so that is cold, which definitely tells me that's a stone.
Mm-hmm.
I can't even imagine the labor that goes into creating something like this.
This is another really interesting sculpture. You know, but Duli has got a really, really great way of working with different materials. So we've got a sculpture here that's made of metal. And what's really interesting is that some of these metal pieces are actually everyday tools that we use in the garden. So for instance, that's a shovel, but it's all in a very creative and artistic human form of a man that is knelt down asking or begging for mercy.
This is fantastic, and I'm pretty sure I'm seeing the body of a wheelbarrow here.
Yes.
And this looks like a car part. Just the way that you guys mingle materials is, I'm so surprised. So do you find that in the art world, the sculpture form of art is taking over?
Well, not necessarily taking over. It's a form that's been around for hundreds of years. It's quite ancient, whether you're talking about the poison or even the history of African artists that already had tools chipping into stones and wood. This is a form that has been with us for so long. I have just had the interest of being able to help clients to diversify their art pieces, thinking beyond just paintings, thinking beyond just hanging art on the wall, but being able to use space so creatively. They all have different types of usage. They have endurance to weather, to the sun, to the wind, and it's interesting how even over time, the character of these pieces, they change and they continue to stay as talking points. There's actually one more thing that I want to show you. Come. Ooh. So we've got a sculpture here, which is actually an indigenous stone. My favorite thing about this piece the most is that you can actually play around and the kids can smash into it, they can play around with it. It becomes a sensory, playful piece of art, actually, which is actually also good for childhood development. You know that, right?
And I want to release my inner child as well. Please, can I have a go at making
Exactly,
some noise?
please do.
Oh my gosh! I just love how the art world encompasses everything. It is incredible what we have learned about art today, from the different art forms to the different materials, learning that you can play around with it no matter how fantastic it looks. There truly is no bound to the world of art.
Ladies, that looked like so much fun. You know, it's always so incredible to be reminded that art isn't just about the paintings up on the wall, that they do come and they are celebrated in so many different forms. And you guys got to check out cool sculptures. I'm so jealous.
Yes, absolutely. I always want to try and educate people that art is beyond just a painting or a drawing. There is ceramics, there's sculptures within sculptures. You've got marble sculptures, you've got bronze sculptures, you've got fiberglass. The world in educating here is so endless. And I'm so excited that I get to actually share all this knowledge.
What was the gap that you noticed in the market that inspired you to get into the business that you're in?
Around 2016, it was the time that I saw around the world that art was starting to take a very keen and open interest. It was no longer something that seemed to be far-fetched and far out there and non-inclusive. Whether you looked at it from a global scale or space or even a local South African space, a lot more people were gaining access to galleries and to artists. And so that was one of the other reasons that propelled me to get into this framing business that focused on conservation framing and art restoration. And I just found that in the entire value chain of this industry, it was quite important to educate people about framing and about art.
When you do look at art advisory, I mean, what are some of those key services that you provide?
When you look into advisory, you do have the people that I would like to call as art enthusiasts, and then you have the more seasoned art collectors, and then you have somebody that's in between that is moving past the enthusiast interest side, wants to start investing in art, but isn't quite informed in navigating the space like a seasoned art collector. So I sort of fit in that very unique and niche gap to help individuals and even corporate companies to navigate how they can identify emerging artists, how can we predict the trends on a global scale into the local business of art as well, in terms of whether the artist is going to be valuable one day. And of course, it's not always about the value. You are allowed as an individual to buy art because you love it and it speaks to you. And I'm able to then hybrid between the two and take my clients on a journey in being able to sort of discern and choose when an art piece becomes an investment piece and when an art piece becomes a talking point because it lives on the walls, on your homes, and that's exactly what tells stories.
It's no secret that Africa is taking the world by storm in so many different facets. How important is it, in your view, for African artists to enter the global stage and to preserve our cultural heritage?
I think that now is the time for this, and I think going back to my opportunity of coming into the business of art, I really caught it at the very beginning of that interest of even Black African art and in the diaspora from South Africa, the continent, in the States and Europe. We've seen the shift statistically, even in the auction houses where a lot of them are acknowledging that African artists are not just crafts people from the side of the road, they actually do have value. And the demand is growing quite big globally. And I think that even as an art advisor, what's important now is to also make sure that the education and the acquisition of art pieces, whether it's individuals, whether it's institutions, the museums, they stay also in the continent. The next African Picasso is already amongst us. And so we need to be able to start nurturing and making sure that that foundation is solid so that history, the cultural history and the narratives stay on the continent with us.
Absolutely powerful. Well, thank you so much for joining this conversation with us, Monalisa Molefe. We wish you the very best in your future artistic endeavors.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me.
After the break, we get a front row seat to artist Richard Scott's wedding.
Our pharmacies are on the front line of healthcare. This is Pharmacy of the Week.
We are a community pharmacy that deals with offering comprehensive pharmaceutical services to all our clients, everybody within the community of Blaubeck and even outside. So we're very proud to be assisting the community in Blaubeck and we are happy about it. We're taking very good care of it. It's very important that we assist the community here because one, the relationship that we have with them, a positive relationship, so we cannot take that for granted. It is very critical just to advise all our clients that they must simply take care of their health. That is very important. Take care of your spiritual being, your emotional being, and your physical being, most importantly, so that you can stay away from all other conditions.
Pharmacy of the Week, proudly brought to you by Adcock Ingram OTC, sponsors of Brave.
Now, our next segment is about something very special. And what is more special than love? Love is one of the most beautiful things that people can experience. And there are few things more special than your own wedding.
Speaking of weddings, artist Richard Scott recently tied the knot with his now wife, Joanne, who was wearing a beautiful dress by renowned designer Jacques Lagrange.
My name is Richard Scott. I'm going to be the husband of Joanne Roberts today. Quite excited about that. As a living, I paint pictures for a living. I'm an artist. Behind me is one of the most prolific works of mine, which is the Candy series. I've been painting the Candy series for about 20 years. They've become recognized and iconic colors and images of the girl with the black line and the white subject matter. I was once told if you want to become famous and make lots of money as an artist, you've got to have something that's very iconic and very, very similar. Whether you paint trees, girls, or cars, people must walk into a room and go, that's a Richard Scott.
I am the bride, Joanne Roberts. I'm feeling very, very excited today because I am marrying the man of my dreams that I've waited a very long time to meet. He's super special to me. My makeup is going to be natural today because I am a very natural person and I wanted to keep it a representation of myself.
I'm Jacques Lagrange, South Africa's king of couture. So we worked with French chiffon that we made this beautiful dress that's draping beautifully, and on top we did a bodice, 3 layers, done by hand, bone, with thousands of beads that was embroidered on French lace, which gives this beautiful romantic bustier, yet very subtle look. Joanne gave me carte blanche for the dress, but all she wanted was an elegant dress with a bit of a modern twist. I think the dress complements the surroundings beautiful today because it's very elegant, very sophisticated, yet very relaxed.
When we initially chatted to Jacques Lagrange, who's doing the dress for Joanne, Jacques suggested we use some of my art and incorporate it into the suit. We then approached Willem from Z-Men, who primarily does all my suits and the shirts, and he agreed to doing that. We got some silk printed, supplied it to Willem, and he did his best. He weaved his magic. We decided to keep it very simple, get the chef Bertus Bassoni and let him do his thing, and allow the theme to take care of itself. Andre came in to do the flowers. He suggested we do the white chairs and get a really nice sort of wedding theme with the arch and the beautiful white chairs and the drapes. It adds a nice little flair to it and gives it a little bit of a nice white wedding, as they say in the famous the words. Jacques guided the theme along the lines of one of my tree artworks. I think there's something to come in the dress. I'm not too sure. I haven't seen the dress yet. I'm not allowed to. So that's going to be quite cool to see.
Instead of bridesmaids, I've chosen for my 2 sons, Chad and Dean, to walk me down the aisle today. I'm very proud that they can accompany me and hand me over to Richard. It's going to be great that they are part of my day today. I'm feeling like a beautiful princess and I love the flowers in my hair and my gown is beautiful. Jacques done an amazing job with all the beadwork and I love it. I went with the morning gown look because I felt that it just fits in with my whole feel and vibe of the wedding, that I wanted it to be elegant and natural and just fit in with the beautiful surrounds. I feel when Richard sees the dress, he is going to have a tear in his eye.
I met Richard in 2018, a few years ago. He's a great man, and I think that he's the man for my mother, and I'm glad that she chose him.
I wish them a long, happy marriage, and just to have fun and enjoy it. It's a precious moment to walk my mom down the aisle because I get to kind of hand her over, give her away. It's going to be fun.
I'm actually very happy about that. I'm especially happy that it's both me and my brother. I think that's just such a beautiful thing for both sons to walk them down the aisle.
I'm feeling normal. I do this kind of for a living, exhibitions, art exhibitions, so it's generally quite normal to be on the spotlight. I feel for Joanne because she's equally on the spotlight today. Whereas under normal circumstances, she would just be holding my hand as support. So I feel like I'm a bit more of a support role today in the limelight as compared to being in the limelight as the artist at an exhibition. So I feel comfortable, I feel calm, we've got very good people around us.
It is now my great privilege and joy to declare you husband and wife before God and man. Richard, you may now legally kiss your wife.
I would say congratulations again, guys. May there be many, many happy years, and I'm looking forward to the future for you guys.
I just yesterday showed my daughter, she's with me here, I showed her the place on Google Maps, and we saw the Mandy in the swimming pool. Richard's art is even visible from space, so perfect place.
The wedding ended up being better than I expected. I enjoyed it, I loved it. I saw a tear in Richard's eye, which was what I expected. And you, sweetheart?
It was nice to be married to the love of my life and the soulmate. It's very special to spend it with family.
It feels like a dream come true because I'm married to the love of my life, Richard, and I am so looking forward to spending the rest of my life with him. It's beautiful.
Wow, what an incredibly beautiful ceremony. And thank you so much to Joanne and Richard for inviting the Afternoon Express team onto your special day. Mwah!
I love the wedding talk so much because, Palesa, you are planning your own wedding yourself, aren't you?
This conversation makes me pit. It makes me sweat. I get anxious just thinking about it.
I can imagine there are so many moving parts. Now, I know that you are planning the main event, right? But what exactly has been done so far to date?
So, you know, when it comes to the wedding talk and the different ceremonies, a lot of people get it a bit confused, especially looking within the Zulu culture. So no, we haven't had the white wedding, and we also haven't had the two different ceremonies, Kwatembe na Kwangubane, where we welcome the groom and also where they welcome me as their bride. But what has happened is that he's been able to step in front of my uncles at our family home in KZN in Durban, eLamonti, and he has made his intentions known. We've started off the lobola process and it's looking really, really good, but the planning of it is so overwhelming.
Oh, that is so beautiful. I always like to tell myself that the amazing part about creating a wedding is also you're mingling two families in one. And with our beautiful culture, we get to mesh our families in such a beautiful way. Now, obviously, he has gone home, wakucela, which is why you can have the ring on. Can we actually please get a close-up of that ring?
Oh, girl, I think everyone's so tired of seeing this ring at this stage.
We are not. We really are not. And I mean, you've done so many exciting things leading up to this, one of it being a bridal shoot. Right, you got to try on different gowns. How does that impact the way that you see your dream wedding?
Girl, that was such an exciting moment for me. We got to grace the inaugural cover of the Privida Bridal Edition magazine, and it's an online magazine that is truly making waves within the culture, fashion, art, and all the above. So they've decided to kind of branch into weddings as well, and they got myself and my fiance to be the cover stars. Now, the dresses, I tried on short dresses, I tried on long dresses, I tried on kind of Cinderella type style, and I've also done the little sexy numbers, and that definitely did kind of continue to carve exactly what I wanted. You know, for me, it's all about doing something that's good for my body type, but also something that people haven't seen me in already. But gracing the cover of Privida Bridal Edition was something that was, number one, made me extremely proud, and number two, it was almost like a dress rehearsal.
Now, I know you probably get this a lot about when is the wedding, so I won't be specific and ask for a date. But do you have an idea on what season you want it to be in? And do you think it will have an impact on the look of your wedding?
You know, whenever people ask about, Balisa, when's the big day? I just, you know, I freeze. I feel like Rihanna when they ask her, Rihanna, when is the album coming out? When are you dropping the album? Definitely don't have a date just yet. I think that's also very much venue orientated. So whenever the venue is available, then we're going to take that date. But in terms of seasons, I'm a summer baby. I do not want to see a jacket. I do not want to see a shawl. I do not want to see a blanket over anyone's shoulders. I want skin, I want glistening melanin, and I want that sun-kissed glow. So definitely a summer wedding is what I'm looking at, and that is definitely going to also impact the look. I mean, there are flowers that are seasonal, the actual weather of the day as well. So we don't want a rainy day. I know my second name is Pulani, which quite literally means the rain, but I hope that we don't have rain that day, but definitely all the sun and all the laughter.
Oh, listen, I'm keeping fingers crossed that it doesn't rain as well. Yes, I get that it's your day, but as somebody that will be invited, I know it's important for me to sort out my outfits. I'm waiting for that invitation.
Well, I'm joking, of course you're invited.
I love this so much. Coming up, I attend this year's Forbes Women's Summit and we meet rugby commentator Layla Arrison.
They say empowered women empower the world. Ayanda joined the Absa team at the 2025 Forbes Women's Summit to celebrate women's achievements and empowerment across the African continent.
The time has finally arrived. The Forbes Women Leading Women Summit is back for its milestone 10th edition right here in Times Square, Pretoria. Bigger, bolder and more powerful than ever, join me for a day full of inspirational, game-changing conversations and powerful women. Let's talk about Absa always having incredible partnerships. Why have you decided to partner up with Forbes this year for this beautiful event?
We are so excited to join the Forbes Summit 2025 this year because it's all about celebrating women in entrepreneurship, women in corporate, women in sport, and really bringing the continent together to understand how women are really going to be at the forefront of taking our continent into a successful space of where we are continuing to get to.
I think that a partnership is great because they get us. Like, they really don't try to mold their partnerships to fit into one particular mold. And that's what I really respect and appreciate about working with them. They are great to work with.
Now, we all know that Absa is all about pushing these incredible initiatives. As summit goers like ourselves, what can we expect from this event from Absa?
Behind us, you can see this beautiful execution of really having a woman sport a beautiful red lip. Because when you sport a beautiful red lip, we know that you're showing your power of how you're going to take on the world. Not only that, we're asking the people that attend the event to take a picture with us, post it on our social media and theirs, and tell us their leadership story, because we will choose a winner that will then be featured in Forbes as well as on Expresso for a beautiful interview so we can hear their leadership story to inspire others out there in their leadership journey.
I think events like this are very important. I have found myself sitting here feeling so inspired. I think for long periods of time we sit here hearing the world tell us who we are, but it's so great to sit in a room full of African women, empowered women, telling their stories and just seeing ourselves in their stories. It's super, super inspirational. I mean, we've got Zozi here today who's walked this Miss South Africa journey before us, and so many other women in economics and investment, things that I am working towards. So being in a room like this, I think is just that reminder that our dreams are valid, our dreams matter, and that we can go for everything that we want to.
It will always be important for things like this to exist because we are nowhere close to bridging that gap of, gender inequality, gender equity. And so we should shout as much as we can. This is not even enough. The one day or the 2 days in a year where we get to do this is not enough. I feel like we need to do it every day in order to involve women and men as well in this fight for equity.
We talked a lot on the stage today about, how we can affect change in the community for women. And these are the type of events that bring us together, allow us to connect and all draw power from each other. And so that's extremely important.
My one message of empowerment is that the magic is in the doing. A lot of the time we live in a society that disqualifies, especially women, about what they can and cannot do. So being able to go after the things that you want relentlessly, that is a game changer. So anyone out there watching and just has an idea, has something that they want to go after, this is a sign to go after it relentlessly.
I think the kind of impact I'm definitely trying to leave, not only with the audience here, but with the people around me, is that as long as you have not taken your last breath, don't give up. Your story continues. The pen is still moving. You're still the author of your own story. You're still the main character in your story. So definitely continue to rise, continue to show up, and just don't give up.
I'm an African that was born in Lisbon, raised in Germany, and I now live in Boston, so I've never had the privilege to live in Africa. And whenever I come, I feel this connection that I never had anywhere else. So for me, growing up in these spaces that were so foreign to me, I always felt like, am I ever going to do something that amounts to something? So I just want to say to all the girls out there, yes, whatever you can see in your mental mind, it's possible. You just have to strongly believe and just do your best and just keep pushing and never give up. And setbacks are part of the journey.
And that's a wrap on an unforgettable day with Forbes Women Africa Leading Women Summit. A true celebration of power, fearlessness, and incredible women shaping the future. Let this be your reminder to continue breaking barriers and rewriting those rules. From these women breaking barriers, we turn our focus to a woman making her mark in the sporting world as a female sports commentator, paving the way for many to follow. Please welcome our next guest, Layla Arrison, looking absolutely phenomenal. Now, you obviously have this incredible platform. What does the opportunity mean for you?
I say it constantly. I say it's not about me. It's about everyone that's coming through. I did what I could do between the four lines when I was playing, and now it's about being quite literally a voice for everyone that wants to come into this industry. I think nobody knew the pathways to become a commentator, so when I get a DM asking how do we get there, you know, I try and give as much as possible. My story is not the regular story. My story is not how everyone gets there, but I wanted to be able to open those channels to create opportunities for other people.
Oh, I love that. She speaks with such passion. Very, very infectious. Yeah. But if we were to rewind to your past life as an athlete, can you tell me a little bit more about that and some of those standout achievements you were able to accomplish?
Geez, it started at school. I played all kinds of sports in school. By the time I got to high school, it was cricket and netball mostly. My mom and my dad were always running around on weekends trying to get them to the right place. Pretty much it all happened post high school though. I'd won Victrix Ladorum at school 5 years in a row. We were the first matriculants as well. So there was a lot of pressure kind of coming through that. That was my first taste of TV was during high school too. But then fast forward a couple of years after I'd become a head coach, I'd gone through all of that. I was still busy playing rugby at the time at the Bulls Union. My partner had an interview and told me I need to go along and have a couple of conversations with producers. And I did. And Ungaziwe Zindani, one of the producers there, it was her that really, really believed in me. And because of her belief, I now hopefully get to be a small gateway of opportunity for women to come through.
What a beautiful journey, what a beautiful career. It sounds like there were so many firsts, so many big moves that you had to make along the way. And you've walked us through the transition really of moving from sports player to a sports commentator. But why did you decide to take this journey?
I think commentary chose me. I was always the friend that had something to say. And then my parents sent me to a psychologist just before I went to school, and they said, Layla hates awkward silences. And so kind of just the niche just works perfectly as I get to talk the whole time and I get to get paid to talk. But then, there was just something about being able to tell someone else's story. There was something about having a voice over someone's biggest moments. And that's comes with a lot of responsibility. We've got players running out for their debut for national teams or for a union, etc. And that comes with a lot of, gall and how much can you carry what that moment means to them. Because they could score a try on their first game and your voice is going to be the voice that's going to be over that for the rest of their lives. And so I think that was a challenge that I really enjoyed. So as soon as I stepped off of the field and I said, I'm done as a player, I want to go into commentary now, I kind of went into the mindset of how do I make these moments that I got to experience as a player special for somebody else. And I think I like to see myself as an empath, and so I always want to put myself in other people's shoes, and I always want to make things and do things and make things be better for someone else. And I think just that journey and knowing that I had the privilege to be able to do that, commentary just made sense.
Now, sports is a very difficult space to navigate in general, let alone if you are a woman. So a little girl who's sitting at home right now, wanting to be in the space, wanting to see it professionally from a commentary point of view, what advice can you give them on sticking it through the difficult times?
I always say, like, have a small, close group of people that you rely on, because the outside people are just going to be outside noise. So if you don't have a strong base, any little comment's going to tear you down. So for me, it's about having a small quality base. The next words of wisdom would really to be, always make sure you're learning, always make sure you're growing, always make sure that you actively do something to be better than the person in that same space, and take up space. You know, you belong there, you're there for a reason, and there will be people who will be there to support you. There are going to be people who are going to try and tear you down, but it will always be about learning, growing, staying humble, and making sure you take up space in that area. And then I can't wait to watch you fly, because that's exactly what we want to do. This is why we're doing what we're doing, is to be able to watch other women, other girls fly, and, you know, just to be a pedestal to kind of raise them.
Oh, my word, I love that. Such a beautiful narrative. Thank you so much for joining us today, and a huge congratulations on all your achievements so far and the ones that are yet to come.
Amazing. Thank you guys so much, and thank you for having me.
Thank you. After the break, we catch up with a superstar in the fashion world, Laduma from Ngxokolo.
Welcome back, guys. Now, continuing on today's trend of covering all things art, join us as we step into the world of fashion.
Now, last month, the third edition of the MXS Culture Festival took place, and joining us today on the show to speak about the event is the founder of Ngxokolo himself, Laduma Ngxokolo, and wearing Ngxokolo as well. How are you today, sir?
All the time, I'm great, thank you. Thank you so much for you guys for inviting me to the show.
Oh,
I can't wait to tell you about the great experience that we had.
Look, I was going to say, we should be saying you are the legend. You've made a name for yourself, not only here in South Africa, but internationally. So, you know, you better get that dust off your shoulder. It's always so incredible touching base.
Thank you so much.
I have to ask you, what was the inspiration behind creating the powerhouse that is Ngxokolo?
The approach behind Ngxokolo initially was a simple thesis project that I did at the Nelson Mandela University when I was 22 years old. And when I started the concept, I came up with an idea of designing clothes for Xhosa initiates that are sent off by their parents to go and convert to manhood. But then when I did the ritual, I didn't like the clothes. They were too traditional, too classic, and too Scottish. So I decided to change that whole aesthetic by taking traditional Xhosa beadwork and converting them into modern pattern design that can be applied in infinite possibilities.
So why did you think of creating this festival, number one, and what does it mean to you?
First of all, I'm a fanatic of culture. I don't think I would have done what I'm doing if I didn't love culture like that. I grew up in an urban city, which is now called Gqeberha. Not so much culture out there, but you do find so much in Transkei, Mthatha, in the rural areas of the Eastern Cape. So my colleague and I sat down and decided, how about we celebrate other cultures in one space by extending the experience to the public and give them an all-day experience where they listen to music, we curate the food and showcase how sustainable we are as a brand. But then once we've established the festival very well, we invite other designers to participate and other cultures to activate. So this past Culture Fest has been the third edition since we started 3 years ago. And the overall aim was to give people an experience of what we do at Fashion Week. Because Africa is not on the map for Fashion Weeks yet, unfortunately.
Now, there will be a lot for us to get into, but first, let's take a look at this fabulous event.
Today we celebrate the marrying of creativity and entertainment. Join me for a day full of fashion, decor inspiration, food and music at this year's edition of the Culture Fest. Beautiful day. Woo! You guys, Dude Love, you look absolutely phenomenal as usual. How are you feeling today?
So great, so amazing. I'm on top of the world.
Obviously, you have a big task. You're an MC for today. How How has it been? How's the energy of the crowd?
Let me tell you something about this particular Culture Fest. The MXS Culture Fest is always a good time. It's a very easy job. You're having fun. You're celebrating fashion. You're celebrating Maxhosa. You're celebrating sustainability. Everything is amazing. And everybody looks so good.
Asante, you look absolutely amazing in this outfit. We love it from head to toe.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
What do you think of the Maxhosa brand?
Bro, the Maxhosa brand is culture, man. It's culture. It's more than just a brand. It's a movement, you know. It's inspiring many young people and inspiring artists at whatever age you're at. Because if you're wearing this, you feel the South African energy. You feel the hard work that's been put into this.
What encouraged you to come to this event and what are you expecting?
Yes, I'm expecting to see the new collection. Hey, believe it, yes. And another thing is that I believe in supporting the local textile, local clothing, you know. So I'm big on buying local brands. The skirt is actually made by Laduma's sister, Tina, yeah. So it's Ngxokolo to Ngxokolo, you know, so yeah. So I'm looking forward to see what have they got.
You ladies look absolutely phenomenal.
Thank you, so do you.
How are you feeling today, Buyo?
Fantastic. Love the weather, love the outfits, love the culture. We're here for Maxhosa.
And let's just touch up on how this is a collaboration of arts. There's music, there's decor, there's the fashion. How important is it for us to collaborate these things?
It is so important because we are starting to get young children that are looking into these careers, first and foremost. So it's nice that we highlight them and see their importance and show that they actually have room, especially for the youth, in every sphere, with food as well, with culture, with music. So it's really, really amazing that they collaborate, especially in where we are right now in South Africa.
How do you feel fashion going forward in Africa?
The sustainability, the part of where we're mixing fashion with actually just saving the earth as well. Because a lot of times as designers and people that design, we don't actually look at the aspect of the environment. It's nice when African brands now put us aware of like, what's actually happening in the environment, you know. Going forward, people are going to be more aware and self-conscious of the sustainability and the environment as a whole.
Yes, absolutely. And I mean, today is all about Maxhosa. Now, for somebody who's at home who couldn't be at this event, can you explain the vibe? How's everything today?
Guys, this is a great vibe. And if you are not here, you actually missed out on a great vibe. The vibes are vibing. And there's a pop-up and a fashion show is about to happen right now. I don't think like you have to miss it next year. If you miss this one, I don't know.
You heard it from Uncle Vinny himself. The vibes are vibing. Do not miss next year. I'm standing with the man of the hour. Laduma, how are you feeling moments before your show?
Actually, man of the day, because the festival is a day long. It's from 12 until 12 midnight. I'm feeling super anxious. Of course, I'm here backstage. I've just arrived, always showing up to deliver style.
Let's talk about Umbulelo. What is that about? What was the inspiration about it and how did you come to the idea?
In the greater scheme of things, Umbulelo in Xhosa context and other African cultures, a lot of cultures in Africa give Thanksgiving. With that said, this is a gratitude collection because there are classics here, there's new evolutions, and there is a hint of where we're going. You know, there's 2 pairs of footwear and multiple pairs of sandals.
We love that so much because you're constantly pushing the narrative on what African fashion should look like. What a beautiful show that was, Laduma. Please, can you just give me a big sigh of relief? I can already feel the change in energy.
Now I can sleep.
Now, just to talk about the show itself, what a beautiful show. Where do you see Maxhosa driving African fashion as a whole?
I don't just see Maxhosa driving African fashion. I see Maxhosa decolonizing certain nuances about the misconception of Africa that were painted on us. I see it influencing the academic curriculum. I see it preserving other cultures other than Maxhosa. The whole concept of the brand is about self-pride and knowing your self-worth and not confining it to South Africa or the Eastern Cape or Africa. The world, beyond the world, Mars, Elon Musk can wait. We can take over Mars.
What a beautiful day it was for the culture. We got to spend it with the powerhouse that is Maxhosa, enjoy tasty food, and be embodied by the music of South Africa. What a testament to collaboration, both its importance and its power.
Hey, Bo! That looks so amazing. You can almost feel that exciting energy that was buzzing through the air, through the screen. As the creator of the MXS Culture Festival, I know you always have an idea, but then when it comes to execution, how do you feel and how did it come out as the creator?
Listen, the execution part of the event is not as easy, including the execution of the brand on a daily basis, which is more the delivery of the fashion show. You were there, you saw how extravagant we went in terms of the model count and the number of looks. We did 80 looks, which is something that's quite rare within the fashion business in the African continent, but it's a normal type of approach in Europe, in America. I'm still recovering from it, actually, but nevertheless, a lot of people enjoy it. And that is what matters.
Coming up, Laduma chats to us about his international success at the recent Paris Fashion Week. Now, a big one, Laduma. You just came back from Paris. A big deal. You had your designs on the Paris catwalk. How was that experience?
Paris was a great experience in terms of the delivery. We were very intentional of how we want to present our show. Paris Fashion Week as a federation is governed by a group of CEOs from different luxury companies like Chanel, Louis Vuitton, and whatnot. They're the ones who decide what time slot they're going to slot in and what format you're going to use. So the format that we used is called a presentation, because to do a fashion show, you really have to be well established as a brand and have stores all around the world and make so much revenue. But then we worked with what we had. The special touch that we had for the show, I must say, was none other than our own rapper, Layla Arrison, who delivered a spectacular theatrical performance that shook a lot of French journalists. That was a surprise element of it because Layla has a very profound approach to hip-hop. He knows quite a lot about fashion. So in his raps, he said it himself actually, that he wrote his raps of his current EP for fashion.
With every single look, with every single piece and garment, you too are telling a story. So what was some of that messaging and the meaning behind each and every look and the overall collection?
So the theme of the collection is Umbulelo. Umbulelo is Thanksgiving. As Africans, as Amaxhosa, as Amazulu, we take gratitude very serious. And also, in general, sustaining a business for 14 years is not a child's play. There has to be a guiding force that is behind you to sustain that. And the fashion industry is quite a dynamic one. It is a superficial industry, but yet pragmatic in terms of production, as they say in marketing, what is promised is what must be delivered, So it's all good and well to showcase fancy clothes. People are looking forward to see them in their retail stores.
Very excited, and I love that you touched on the fact that you've been in this industry for 14 years. That is no easy feat, especially in the fashion industry. It's hard to stay relevant for as long as you have. Maxhosa is fast growing and you're diverting into so many spaces. We saw shoes in the collection, and then we also saw that you're going into the decor space. Can you talk to us about the inspiration behind that?
We've been experimenting with lifestyle for the past couple of years. The products that we've been pushing more are your rugs, cushions, and throws, but we believe that we can exist in the entire ecosystem. You saw umbrellas there and various other touch points within homeware. As for shoes, footwear is a staple line that each and every fashion brand should have. But then we don't want to come into the industry and just launch a normal shoe. So for the past few years, we've been experimenting with shoes and trying to find an aesthetic or a product that would truly define how we are trying to tell our story as a brand. So you're only gonna see shoes later in the year in the stores, but in our shows, absolutely.
Maxhosa has always been a family brand, whether it's family in friendship, family in blood, and family in the community that you build within the industry. Is that still important to Maxhosa as a brand today?
Family ties are very important to the Maxhosa business model. Of course, I wasn't the first in the family to do what I'm doing. A person to acknowledge that I consider as the founder of the business actually is my late mother, Lindelwa, which we established last year a foundation under her name, the Lindelwa Foundation. So my late mother was a knitwear designer back in the 80s. Of course, with the political climax then, one couldn't grow beyond what was confined in their neighborhood. But she aspired to build a brand that she will showcase in Paris. She loved Cape Town. And unfortunately, a couple of months after she taught me how to design and make knitwear, she passed away. And I was in grade 8 then. I decided to continue. I did textile design in high school and decided to do textile design at university for 4 years. And that's where I founded the concept that is now known as Maxhosa.
Oh, it's so beautiful.
I'm sure Mama is looking down so proud.
And that brings us to the end of today's show. Thank you so much for joining us, Laduma.
It's always an absolute pleasure being able to spend this hour with you, Mzansi, but we are continuing the conversation online. Please do let us know using the hashtag Afternoon Express what you enjoyed the most from today's show. Today we close off with some highlights of the Maxhosa show. Please do enjoy it.
See you again next Tuesday evening at 6 on S3, where we channel your self-expression. See you again next Tuesday evening at 6 on S3
as we chat with interior designer Farai Chinya as he invites us on a tour of one of his projects.
Get a front row seat to Step Up star Brianna Evigan's beautiful Cape Town experience.
And ballerina, now choreographer Kitty Peta prepares for Joburg Ballet's Dreamscapes production.
See you again next Tuesday evening at 6, where we channel your most beautiful self only on S3.
Another feel-good production.